Hello, fellow preppers. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. It's Friday, January 4th. The year is 2013. I finished the book, The Unthinkable. Who survives when disaster strikes and why? Fellow preppers, you must read this book. You really must. Because it's about what's going on up in the mind. You can have all the gear you want. You can make plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. But if your mind isn't prepared, you're just not going to make it. Let me share a few things with you. Let's see, let's start with page 44 here. For example, you have heard flight attendants explain how to put on an oxygen mask should it drop down from the ceiling of the plane. Secure your own mask before helping others, the warning goes. But the flight attendant doesn't tell you why. Imagine if you were told that in the event of a rapid decompression, you would only have 10 to 15 seconds before you lost consciousness. Aha! Then you might understand why you should put your mask on before you help your child. You might understand that if you don't put your mask on first, you'll both be unconscious before you can say, how does this thing work? Suddenly, the warning would not just sound like a nagging legalese, it would sound like common sense. It would motivate. So you see right there, you need to know the reason why you do things. So if you have that reason why you do things, that will propel you to act. That will make you take action. You won't hesitate. You won't think about it. You won't question. You'll just act. Page 46. Usually people think in binary terms. Either something will happen or it won't. Either it will affect me or it won't. So when people hear they have a 6 in 100,000 chance of dying from a fall, they shove that risk under the label, won't happen to me. Even though falling is in fact the third most common cause of accidental deaths in the United States, after car crashes and poisoning. It would be much more powerful to tell people about Grant Sheil, age 3, who fell and cut himself on a vase while playing at home in February 2007. That Tyler died from his injuries. Or about Patrick Rizowski, 19, who fell down and hit his head that same month while walking near his home. He was pronounced dead at the scene. These deaths are almost always described in news accounts as freak accidents, despite the fact that they are relatively common. See, what this point goes to show is that you need all the facts. So when you read something in the news and they call it a freak accident or act of God, you need to do a little more digging on your own and find out, well, is it more common than what they're leading us to believe? Because if it is, then maybe we need to pay attention to these type of things, be prepared to take action, or to be prepared to make sure these types of things don't happen to us. Let's move on to page 70. The more prepared you are, the more in control you feel, and the less fear you will experience. Let me read that again. The more prepared you are, the more in control you feel, and the less fear you will experience. I'll read it a third time since I messed up. The more prepared you are, the more in control you feel, and the less fear you will experience. Once again, preparing. If you're prepared, you'll be in control. Maybe. And you won't have as much fear. Why? Because you're prepared. Makes sense, doesn't it? Here's one of my favorites coming up here on page 216. Skill is my ability to do something automatically at the subconscious level. I don't have to think about it. It is programmed. How do I get that? I do that by repetition, by practicing the right thing. The only way you learn it on a response level is to program it. So, once again, preparation, practice, repetition. Those of you who shoot know you need to practice. You need to practice repeatedly so it becomes instinctual. You don't have to think about it when you pull that gun, when you squeeze that trigger. It's muscle memory. You can almost do it with your eyes closed. Though I don't advocate shooting a gun with your eyes closed. The point I'm making is that the skill, when you're really a master, you don't have to think about it. You just do it. And it's not necessarily that you're in the zone. It's just something you do without thought. I mean, once you learn how to do it, you don't have to think about it. So, I think that's enough. But let me tell you, this book, The Unthinkable by Amanda Ripley, is a must. A must. Read it this year, fellow preppers. Because if you fail to prepare today, you might not be able to prepare tomorrow.